You know we trap all day, we play all night. This is the life of a go getter, go getter, go getter.
When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I started sneaking into nightclubs and doing poetry sets.
Right here in the city?
Yep, around the city of Chicago. It was all up and through Wicker Park for a long time, hit spots on the south side. Did all of that for a long time, and then transitioned over into theater. Went to NIU, I am a Husky, and went there for theater school, trained underneath Catherine Gately, got the training there, then moved around and started doing shows. So I've been in a ton of different projects over the course of the past years, and recently I was given a fellowship at Chicago Dramatist Theater, where I am one of the inaugural 6 Russ Tutterow Playwriting Fellows. Okay. So currently my focus is mostly on writing plays.
And when is your next show?
I have a project going to New York, to the National Black Theater. In April.
Nice.
April 10th, 2018, 7:30 p.m. So if you happen to be in Harlem, make your way over to the National Black Theater. It's on 125th and 5th. You can find your way over there. 125th and 5th, 7:30 p.m., April 10th. Solace Game will be getting a reading at the National Black Theater. Very excited about that.
Another thing, too, just about Harlem and New York in general, like, being an artist, you already know when you tell people what you do, they say, oh, why don't you go to LA, or why don't you go to New York?
Yes.
I feel like we can make it here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for me, I know I want to get the city behind me first before I travel anywhere else. And being in Chicago, like, we are the 3rd largest market in the country. We have so much to offer. It's like my heart is in the city, so I want to make it here first. Show people we can make it here. So what's made you stay here in Chicago instead of branching out?
And I stay because Chicago has one of the greatest theater scenes in the world.
Yes.
The London Times about 2 or 3 years ago said that Chicago had more theater companies per capita than any other city in the world. So there is always theater happening in Chicago. There's always an opportunity to get on somebody's stage doing something, be it a reading, be it a play, do something here. And this city has honed me, has trained me beyond belief, and I owe a lot of what I know to my mentors and those who have come before me, namely black women. Black women have been the main ones who have ushered me into who I'm supposed to be in this business.
Good segue. So who would you say inspires you?
Black women, always. Like my sister, J. Nicole Brooks, of course. Jacqueline Williams is one of my favorite artists in this city. I reminded her of this once, that we were doing a show together, and I didn't quite bring it during a monologue, and she looked at me, looked me up and down, looked out at the audience, full tears, had never cried before, had the audience eating out of the palm of her hand, and then afterwards looked back at me, looked me up and down, and walked off stage, and it was like, okay. All right.
Wow.
I can't never not do that again. But that's, of course, those are local folks. I mean, business-wise, I would say that, of course, superstars like, Jay-Z, his business sense is stupid. Stupid.
Most definitely.
Will Smith, also stupid, great business sense. Artistically, Ava DuVernay, Ryan Coogler, those cats. Jeez, Black Panther, everything about it. Oh my God!
Amazing film. About to go see it again.
Yes, I will be making my 4th trip to Wakanda very, very soon. Who else? Writing-wise, Octavia Butler is definitely one of my absolute favorite authors.
Okay.
Randomly, Robert Jordan is a fantasy author that I absolutely love. He has this Wheel of Time series. He passed away a few years ago, but those books, oh my God, they inspired me.
Speaking of fantasy, when you act, like as far as writing plays or performing on stage, do you dive into more fantasy realm or more realistic content?
I tend to want to work in things that involve magical realism and Afrofuturistic works. I have recently not written as many Afrofuturistic pieces as I had thought I was going to during the course of this fellowship, but The ideas are still in my head, so they are going to come out.
Black Panther.
Yeah, sure. I'm currently writing a play about the mother of Ghanaian independence. And her name is Nana Ya Asantewa. She started a war with the British in 1900 by herself at the age of 60 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a bad woman.
It's a bad woman. So in this piece in particular, it is a historical play.
Okay.
So I have to do a lot of research to completely understand that world. Because I have to understand it before I can present it. And that's one of the things I've always liked about acting, is the research component of it. Because they're like, especially if you're doing a historical piece, you have to do the research. You have to know the world of the play beyond what's on the page.
Yeah, there's more to it than people think.
The socio-political aspects of the world that you're living in, so that you can make choices as an actor. Stella Adler said it, your strength is in your choices. And that goes for as far as writing, that goes as far as acting. Any craft that you're making, really, you're making choices consistently. And if you're not making choices, that's where your performance falls flat. That's where your manuscript doesn't, go anywhere. That's if you're not making choices as a creator, you don't build product that people want to see.
I think that literally you become the role.
Yeah. You have to. I don't so much do method stuff like some folks, like, Shia LaBeouf is a great example of what not to do. I mean, this man went and had a dentist pull his teeth out. He cut his own face for a part. There's a story that's always floating around the industry about Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman. They were doing the Marathon Man together, and Dustin Hoffman is a young actor at the time, and he's running around the set, literally, physically, running around the set, just so he can be sweaty for a scene and tired and physically exhausted. And then he stops and he sits next to Laurence Olivier, and Laurence Olivier looks at him and says, "Next time, my boy, try acting."
Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me everywhere. I am on the Instafaces. I am on the Twittergrams. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, all of those things. Twitter, at Osirai, Osairai. If you find me on Facebook, you can find my fan page at Osiris Khepara on just Facebook. Yeah.
There you have it. Go City Go-Getters. It's your neighborhood rock star, Alejandro Joaquin, and this is F.A.M.E. Fashion, art, music, entertainment.
I'm